Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. Two Guys on Sports brought to us each week by All Motor Performance, Old Pelt Avenue in Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthaus, State Farm Agent. Coverage you can trust. And we get into baseball action. We had an exciting game yesterday between a couple of teams that were looking for their first win of the season.
Both teams played well. Both good pitchers. Young Mason Anding, a sophomore, and then I believe Clay Mueller is a freshman.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Thorpe Owen-Whitney.
Okay.
But very nice-looking left-hander.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mason Anding, a guy that nobody talked about eating up some innings for Neillsville Granton, because you expected the Hazer boys and Caden Stry. But with Adams' injury, Mason has come in and picked up some pretty key injuries. And that was a very good start yesterday. So.
Yeah, talk about eating up innings. He went 7.
Yeah.
Went the entire game.
Yeah, he doesn't throw hard, but he throws strikes. And he's got about 3 different variations of off-speed stuff that really works and really has the batters fooled. So
7 innings yesterday, 2 runs, 1 was earned. He had 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 3 walks.
Yep.
In 7 innings.
Just a sophomore. You know? And it proves you don't need that big fastball to win. So,
right.
So.
And very effective.
Yeah.
And I think Coach Kurth, if you talk to him, he was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, absolutely.
And happy.
Yeah, because he got against McDonald, he got an excellent start from Caden Stry on Monday, but that pretty much sits Caden down for the week. But to get through those 2 games, McDonald in the first Owen-Whitney game, and to have a very rested Andrew Hazer for today's game is really big. It worked out just perfectly for Coach Kurth. So.
Yeah, and Adam Hazer got an inning in the JV game following that. So I guess he was down in AAA Nashville for an inning.
And that's going to help, too, if he can pick up an inning or 2. Because it doesn't – if Stry can get 5 innings and Adam can pick up an inning or 2 or Mason, too, and Andrew, too. So it's just going to lengthen out that pitching staff just a little bit longer. And they've got a lot of winning games coming up, Larry. They've got, 2 with Spencer, 2 with Gilman, 1 more at Owen-Whitney. They could have a chance to win all those games, which would set up pretty nice in the conference. So.
Sure. And the big walk-off hit for Adam Hazer yesterday. With the score tied at 2-2 in the bottom of the 7th, he got that hit.
Yeah, having Adam back has lengthened the lineup out a little bit too.
Yeah.
So and he makes contact for the most part, and his play around first base has just been excellent too. So
so the Warriors win 3-2, get their first win of the season. The same 2 teams. Now I believe I was saying Owen-Whitney all the time. I checked with Dwayne King, the athletic director. It is at Thorpe.
Okay, the game is
tomorrow.
At Thorpe. Okay,
or today, later today at Thorpe. So
okay.
That's a 5:00 game on 92.7 WPKG.
Yeah, I don't. Do they play it like on the north side there? I believe
it's. I think over by the fairgrounds, if I believe.
Yeah,
or not the fairgrounds, but their activity grounds where they do Thorpe Dairy Days. And that stuff over in that area. So it is at Thorpe today.
Okay.
Neillsville Granton and Owen-Whitney.
And they are the Red Hawks.
Yes, they are the Red Hawks either way, but it's going to be at Thorpe today. Also, Columbus Catholic getting a win over Gilman to stay on top in that Eastern Chlor Belt.
15-8, though, so a lot of runs scored by the Gilman Pirates. And
Columbus is scoring a lot of runs.
Oh, my goodness. They had 22 on Saturday. I believe 25 on Monday, another 15 So their bats are just working big time
they are,
here.
Big time.
And they're sitting at 7-0 in the conference, and they're looking big for that big series with Loyal next week. So
Loyal right now a half game back at 6-0. And then it really falls off in that Eastern
it really
Chlor
does.
Belt.
Yeah.
Gilman at 3-3.
You've got the 2 top teams, and then everybody else is kind of mixed and kind of in a league of their own. There, the other I believe it's 4 teams.
4 teams.
Yep. So.
In the Western Chlor Belt, you have Elkbound and Fall Creek both 6-1, Regis 6-3, Cadott 4-3. Bloomer 3-4, and we saw McDonald Central. They're 2-6 in the West,
and it's a good 2-6.
Yeah, they're a little better, I think. Than
but then you look at the top of that conference. You got 3 teams at 6-1, Cadott at 4-3, and so Cadott at Fall Creek today. But Fall Creek looks like they're going to be big time. They shut out Loyal on Monday 2-0.
Yeah,
I did not see who pitched, but they have an excellent pitching staff, and they are going to be tough to beat down the line. So
Fall Creek, they beat Cadott the other day 21-3. So. And Cadott was kind of up there.
Cadott was
right. The
they were right in the mix there at the top, but they've kind of faded back. Regis has kind of come ahead too. They're at 6-3 too.
Right.
So, but looks like Elk Mound and Fall Creek are going to be the teams. So.
Yeah, and Regis blanked Stanley Boyd the other day, 14-0. Stanley Boyd kind of off to a rough start, 0-9.
And they will go to Regis tomorrow.
Okay.
So 0-10, not looking looking possible there. So.
All right, girls softball, they had a plethora of doubleheaders on Tuesday and kind of evened out the standings. You have Loyal Greenwood and Marshfield Columbus now at 7-1 atop that Eastern.
I'm not sure when those two teams play, but I think they have to play yet. I believe.
I'd have to look down the schedule.
But you got Nielsville Granton right behind them at 6-2. So if those two teams split, Nielsville's got a chance to move into that top three. But right now, we'll see. But it's
and Gilman at 5-4, and then kind of the rest of the conference.
Gilman was undefeated, but they've run into the other the top teams, and they look great. But today, Spencer is at Nielsville today. Larry, Loyal Greenwood at Owen Withy, and Columbus is at Colby Auburndale. So I don't see the top things really turning around this week. So
in the Western Clore Belt, McDonald Central 11-0.
11-0.
Stanley Boyd at 9-1.
Stanley Boyd, a very good team. Stanley Boyd is ranked number 6 in D3. McDonald is ranked 7th in D4. Bloomer too. Bloomer at 8-2, right behind them yet. So very good competition there. And today, Stanley Boyd is at Thorpe, and Regis at Elk Mound, and Bloomer at Fall Creek. So Bloomer at Fall Creek is a good matchup, but Fall Creek, not quite what they've been in the past this year. So,
all right, I was just trying to look down the schedule here and see if I can find the Columbus Catholic Loyal Greenwood. They have not played each other yet, so
they've got 2 games, and that's going to be big. In as far as the conference standings go, and I believe Nielsville has played both teams twice, so and split with both teams. So,
all right, so there you go.
Yeah, so
could be interesting here coming up. Final weeks of this regular season for baseball and softball action. Boys golf, we were talking about when they were ever going to play at River Edge. Well, they did on Tuesday. A lot of teams were over there.
Yes.
The East and the West and some other teams involved in that one. And Bloomer showed why they are the top.
Yeah, it's funny. I said, and it's been nice that they split them up and these young Nielsville golfers get a chance to win a few matches. But, throwing them into reality with Bloomer and a couple of these schools and as it made change things a little bit, but they seem to be holding their own, though.
You look at the results from that River Edge Invitational. All the West teams finished ahead of Nielsville, but they were on top of the other teams.
Right, exactly, just the way they do it. So, but at today, they're going to really get tested because they are going down to Northern Bay Course, which is at Arkdale down in the Adams Friendship area. But you got Adams Friendship, Amherst, Aquinas, Cadott, Cochrane, Fountain City, Dodgeville, GT, Hillsboro, Lourdes, Luther, Marathon, Markesan, Nakusa, Osseo, Pacelli, River Valley, Sparta, Stanley Boyd, Watoma, Westby, Westfield, Wilmot, and then Nielsville. So, they are going to see a lot different, and it's a totally different course down there. It's a lot of sand down there. So
similar, kind of like maybe Osseo.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yep.
All right. Yeah, Bloomer though the other day they beat Elk Mound, the second place team, by 22 strokes.
Yeah, they've got Steele is his name.
Tegan Steele and Landon Trainer were the medalists.
Yeah,
both had 82s on the 18 holes.
Pretty good on that course too at River's Edge too.
Yeah,
so a lot of water there, and so very low over there. So.
All right. So boys golf. Fully underway now.
Yes, and they're going strong.
They're kind of mixing it up now with some of the bigger tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely. And, because a couple of weeks we'll be starting talking about WIA tournaments. It's good to get that mix in.
You bet. Get to see some of the other talent around the area. Track and field, Nielsville was involved in a big one over in Pittsville the other day.
Boy, Marathon really dominant boys team. Fred Talinsky won the 100-meter and the 300 hurdles. Garrett Bracewell, the 110 hurdles and the long jump. And then, of course, you got Marcel with the shot put and discus. So you got 3 double winners. By the way, Marcel, 67 feet in the shot put. He beat the runner-up there by 22 feet, 23 feet. And the discus, I believe he was 75 feet farther than
you got to wonder when you're going into a match with him.
I said Marcus Luchteron was just about 42 feet in third place, and he's 25 feet behind. I said, it's got to psych you out when you're sitting there watching him too. Seeing him, especially that discus where he's going 207 feet.
You don't see that around here.
Absolutely. I said, and I think it's, not only do you stand in awe, but you also appreciate greatness too,
Right,
because
yes.
you're looking at a guy who's going to be throwing in D1 in the NCAA
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And who
Yeah.
knows, maybe a couple of years down the
Now,
road in the
he
Olympics.
might be an Olympic too, So
He's throwing that good.
yeah, we've never seen anything like this
No.
in this area.
No.
So it's
We talked about that Bella Thomas
yeah,
and Addison Wolf.
yeah.
Well, they matched up.
Matched up again, and just like I said, Bella is just in a world of her own. She beats Addison, by about a quarter of a second in the 100, by half a second in the 200. So she has just got her number. And Addison is second every time.
Yeah.
And Addison is a clear second over the rest of the group.
Right,
so,
right, yep.
So they are just really something there. And then, but Assumption also has Lucy Dolan.
Yeah.
She won the 800 meter and the 3200. So good for her. Layla Walk, first in the pole vault. A couple firsts for her. She's doing real well there. Nilsel won the 4x200 relay. Loyal won the 4x400 relay. And then Emma Schultz from Marathon, the shot in the discus. And then Summer Smith from Loyal won the triple jump. So
They got something going on in that shot put and discus up
Wow.
there in Marathon.
they're training very,
Yeah.
very well. So they got somebody who knows something
Yeah.
about it. So
Mike Isabel got first from Neilsville
Yes.
in 200.
Yep, good for him.
Yep, and the 4x200 meter relay team for the boys.
Yeah,
also
and,
took
and the
first.
4x100.
And the 4x100.
And then Landon Geneman first from Loyal, first in the 3200. So
His brother took third.
okay, well, I'll tell you what, their dad knows how to coach distance.
Yes, he
so.
does. Yes, he does indeed. All right, so track and field well underway. There was a
Yeah.
couple of records set for Marshfield. They had
Yeah.
it was called a true team meet.
Yeah, that was a lot of different distances
yeah,
there.
Tuesday.
I said it seemed like instead of an 800 meter run, it was a 1,000 meter run.
Yes.
The 400 meter was a 600 meter run. So I don't know what the point was there, but
Something different, I guess.
yeah, so-
but they did set the meet records or school records in the 1,000. I guess maybe they do this every year, so there are some
they might be
times.
Yeah,
but
so
Natalie Scherenbrock on the 1,000, 3:07:49, and Adeline Lonsdale in the 600 and 1:41:71.
and that's their normal 400 and 800 runners right there.
Right,
So,
yep, yep.
But the Nilsville teams are going to Stanley Boyd today, and that's a pretty big deal. Abbey, Athens, Bloomer, Cadott, Fall Creek, Flambeau, Gilman, Ladysmith, McDonald, Rice Lake, Stanley Boyd, Thorpe, and Nilsville all at
Okay.
Stanley Boyd today.
All right,
So
that's a good meet there
yes,
too.
absolutely.
And a little chillier for the meets. In fact, if you're going up to Thorpe for the baseball game, or wherever you're going
Yeah.
out to, make sure you bring maybe an
As
extra
I
jacket.
recall, that's pretty open up there
Yes,
too.
it is.
Yeah.
Bring an extra jacket with you 'cause
I
it's going to
said-
be a little chilly.
I said, you could just that wind out of the northwest on Tuesday was just a whistling. So
yeah, yeah.
But, so.
Speaking of track and field, Owen Withy was up at Gilman,
Yep.
and Brandon Geldernick. You talk about
Yeah.
a sprinter from Owen Withy.
Yeah, he's been winning everything wherever he goes. He's been winning the 100 and 200.
And
He's
the
also
400.
yeah, and he also does the high jump or the long jump. One of those.
Yep,
if you
right,
look at it.
right.
But yeah, he is just tremendous. Only a junior too. So
Okay,
So-
yeah. There's a
he is. He seems to be the top sprinter in the area right now.
yeah,
so.
and then you got Colton Piskowski from Owen Withy.
and he's a distance
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so they do pretty well with those two guys on either end. So
Yeah, they won both the boys and girls
Yep.
up at Gilman on
Yep.
Tuesday. So and all these sports, counting
Yeah.
down to
yeah, they're going to be winding down. In a couple weeks they'll have their conference meets,
right.
and then after that, right around, I think it's probably right after graduation, they start going into regionals and sectionals and stuff.
Yeah.
So
And graduation just a few weeks down the road.
3 weeks.
Hard to
So,
believe. Hard to believe.
I hope it gets warmer by then.
Yes, I do too. Hey, the Midwest Rock Bouncers coming up this Saturday over across the road at the Clark County Fairgrounds. They've got Pro Buggy, Trail, SXS, and Tough Truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen those Midwest Rock Bouncers. Those guys are crazy.
They're nuts.
They just go. I don't know if you've seen the course. If you drive by
Yeah.
the fairgrounds, they got the course kind of mapped out there
Yeah.
already. And they just drive over big bumps and
Yeah.
try to flip and everything else.
But then you talk to guys like Dylan Schultz, who's been
Yeah.
a big part of it,
Yeah.
and knowing Dylan the way I do, you got to be a little nutsy.
You gotta be a little-
But when
yeah.
he talks about it with passion, Larry.
Oh, yeah.
he really
Big time.
Him and guys like Jeremiah Strauss, who's been in it a long time, and they they do this with passion. It's what they love.
And it's Midwest Rock Bouncer for a reason, because these guys come from all over the Midwest.
Yeah. It's a lot of Minnesota, Iowa. I think you get into Illinois and some guys from Michigan also. So
yeah, the gates open at 12 noon Saturday. Admission is $15, 12 and under free. I think it gets underway at 3 o'clock because they have the drivers meeting at 2:15.
Yeah, and I think it goes till about 6 or shortly afterwards. So
there you go.
And the men's club will have all the concessions that they normally do out there too. So
something to do there for you on Saturday.
Yeah.
We talked about track and field. College, WIAC lacrosse, they won their 4th consecutive men's outdoor championship, but the girls won the women 14th consecutive WIAC.
They're just awesome. And you talking like Addison Wolf, who will be going there. They are very stringent on their. You have to have the right times just to get in there to be on the team.
Well, I'm sure.
Qualify, I should say.
Right.
And of course, Addison has done that and will be a part of that next year. But but they are very stringent who they bring on their team. So even for a D3 school.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Which is a pretty impressive. So.
There was an NCAA Division III record set at that conference meet. Luke Schroeder from lacrosse, the 110-meter hurdles, 13.32.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. That's almost – some guys in high school do that as a straight 100.
Yeah, I said, and that I don't know how many hurdles are in there. But,
I don't know how many.
But that's, wow.
Yeah, 13.32. That's a new Division III record in track and field. All right, where are they now on the program?
Okay, Larry, we are going up to Marathon, and we're going to talk about Morgan Rayque. And Morgan is a 2016 graduate of Marathon High School. In the fall, Morgan was a 3-year letter winner on the Marathon volleyball team. Her sophomore year, Marathon was 24-2. They were Merwood South champs, losing in the regional finals to Stanley Boyd. That year, Morgan had 22 kills, 75 assists, and 35 digs on the season. Her junior year, the Red Raiders were 32-4. They were regional and sectional champs, qualifying for the WIA D3 state tournament, where in the semis they defeated Cameron 3-1. In that match, Morgan had 3 kills, 20 assists, and 15 digs. They then lost to the championship match to Waterloo 3-0. Morgan had 3 kills, 21 assists, and 11 digs in that match. For the season, she had 92 kills, 280 assists, and 205 digs. She was a second-team selection on the Merwood South All-Conference team. Her senior year, Marathon was 20-3 on the season, losing in the regional to Stanley Boyd. Morgan had 85 kills, 255 assists, and 62 digs on the season. She was a second-team selection on the Merwood South All-Conference team. In the winter, Morgan was a 4-year letter winner on the Merwood girls basketball team. Her freshman year, the Red Raiders were 21-4. They were regional champs, losing in the sectional semis to Colby. Morgan averaged 3 points and 2 rebounds per game on the season. Her sophomore year, Marathon was 21-3, losing in the regional finals to Auburndale. Morgan averaged 8 points and 3 rebounds per game and was an honorable mention selection on the Merwood South All-Conference team. Her junior year, Marathon was 25-2. They were Merwood South regional and sectional champions, qualifying for the WIA D4 state tournament, where they lost in the semis to Fall Creek 56-51. Morgan had 6 points and 3 rebounds in that game. For the season, she averaged 9.9 points and 6 rebounds per game and was a first-team selection on the Merwood South All-Conference team. Her senior year, Marathon was 23-4. They were regional and sectional champs, qualifying for the WIA D4 state tournament, where they lost in the semis to Kenosha St. Joe's 61-59. In that game, Morgan had 22 points and 7 rebounds. For the season, she averaged 13 points and 9 rebounds per game and was a first-team selection on the Merwood South All-Conference team. After graduation, Morgan chose to start her college career at UW Marathon County and joined the Huskies women's basketball team. Her freshman year, the Huskies were 20-7 on the season. Morgan averaged 22 points and 7 rebounds per game and was named first-team all-conference in the Wisconsin Collegiate Conference. Her sophomore year, the Huskies went 29-0 to win the Wisconsin State Championship. In the semi-final game versus Fond du Lac, Morgan had 43 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 steals in an 82-52 win in the championship game versus Waukesha. In the championship game versus Waukesha, she had 48 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 steals in a 98-50 win.
Jeez.
For the season, Morgan averaged 38 points, 38.5 points, and was named Player of the Year in the Wisconsin Collegiate Conference. Larry, this used to be a pretty big conference when we were younger.
Yeah, right.
You had the Marauders at Marshfield and stuff.
Yeah.
And, her bio says she chose to go there because she wasn't sure of her study and she wanted to refine her basketball skills. And I think she did that pretty good.
I think so, yeah.
After 2 years at UW Marathon, Morgan accepted a D1 athletic scholarship to play basketball at Iona University in New York City. And I've known a lot of people to go through these schools there, and I think this is the first one I ever knew that went to a D1 school from 2 years in that Wisconsin conference.
Right, yeah. I never heard of that. Usually they're done after they.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Her junior year, the Gales were 5-26. Morgan led Iona in scoring with 11.7 points and had 5.5 rebounds per game. She was honor mention selection on the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference all-conference team. Her senior year, Iona was 9-21. Morgan led the Gales in scoring, averaging 12.3 points per game, and was a second-team all-conference selection. Morgan graduated from Iona University in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in economics. After 2 years, then she was part of the coaching staff at Iona University, and today Morgan is a sales manager for BSN Sports, located in New York City. Morgan herself resides in New Haven, Connecticut.
Wow. So she stayed out there.
Stayed out there,
wow.
Yeah. For 2 years, she was the director of operations for the basketball team and it was the logistics with the travel and motels and all that stuff and stuff. So
good for her.
Yeah, so she made a name for herself out there, and she stayed out there. So,
good for her.
Yes.
There you go. That's what we like to hear when the youngsters make a name for themselves and do well after graduating from college and high school.
Yes.
Two Guys on Sports brought to us by All Motor Performance in Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthaus, State Farm agent. The NBA playoffs continue. They're into the conference semifinals now. And
in the East we've got Philly and New York. Of course, Philly, the 7th seed, knocking out the number 2 seed Boston without Jason Tatum in the last game. Cleveland and Detroit. Detroit was down 1-3 to Orlando, came back and won that, and then took a nice win on Tuesday night to start the Cleveland series. On the other side, Oklahoma City and the Lakers in one series, and Minnesota and San Antonio in the other. And so far, it looks like Oklahoma City is the cream of the crop. So.
Yep. I would agree with that. They have the NBA lottery coming up, draft lottery coming up on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
The best chances: Washington, Indiana, and Brooklyn, 14%, and then the Bucks have a 3% chance of getting the number one. If it's anything like the NHL draft lottery, you never know.
Never know. So it's been a long time since the Bucks have been in the lottery.
It has. 10 years since they've not been in the playoffs.
Yeah. So that was probably when they drafted Giannis,
right?
Yeah. So he was the number 6 pick, I believe. So
So maybe they'll get another Giannis.
Yeah, they did hire a new head coach, Taylor Jenkins.
What do you think of that hire?
I guess getting a lot of accolades for it. He had some good, solid teams at Memphis. He never got out of the first round, but that's a pretty tough West to do it.
Yeah.
But he was an assistant for 1 year under Mike Budenholzer at Milwaukee.
Okay.
So he knows, and that was 18-19. So he knows the lay of the land and everything I said. We'll see. We'll see how they decide to go on this team, because are they going to trade Giannis and maybe start rebuilding, or is this a move to keep Giannis in Milwaukee? But
I'm just glad that he was with the staff, but I'm glad they didn't go with somebody that's been on their staff.
Right.
Kind of went outside.
Yeah, they went outside, and he's proven.
Yeah, right.
But he's young enough that I wouldn't call him a retread yet, Larry.
Right.
So,
right.
But Memphis is a similar situation as Milwaukee, the smaller franchises, and he did a solid job, even though it's not so big in the playoffs. But this will be interesting because this team does need retooling. So
and the draft coming up, it'll be interesting there as well.
That could be a big piece of it, because they haven't had a first-round pick for a while either.
No,
so,
right.
So
I mentioned the NHL draft lottery. Toronto was down the ways, and they ended up winning the first pick. So it was Vancouver who had the best shot, and they're going to pick third.
It can happen.
So you never know.
Yeah, it is legit. That
Yeah.
most of them I think have been legit. There's a few
Yeah.
that people have questioned, but yeah, it's pretty interesting these lotteries. So.
Yeah, well, it gives everybody a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's weighted.
Not everybody, but the teams that didn't get in the
they're
playoffs.
weighted, Larry, to have the worst team have the best chance of winning.
Right.
And I think, I think immediately of the San Antonio Spurs. They've had three big ones. They had back in the day David Robinson, then they had Tim Duncan, and then they had Wembiana.
Yep.
And every time it's turned that franchise around.
You're
so,
right.
So they have handled it probably better than anybody that I know. So
Recently, right?
recently,
Yeah.
so, So,
I guess maybe Detroit, it's kind of taken them a while.
but they figured it out. They got
Yeah.
it. They hit it right. And
Well, they've had a number of top picks.
yeah. Sooner or later,
it should work.
You keep that nucleus together. Sooner or
Right.
later, you would think they got to gel. Sooner or later,
Right. And then you mix in like a Tobias Harris and
and I think Oklahoma City, another one, exactly
Right.
the same thing.
Yeah.
They were down for a long, long time, but they kept amassing these picks. Like you said, mix in a veteran or two, and they take off. So
yeah. All right. Brewers, they got a big series with the Yankees.
The evil empire is coming to town.
The judge is coming in.
Yeah, so
We'll see what happens there. With
they started getting some players back. They got Churio and Vaughn back in line. Churio never looked like he missed anything. 4 for 4 in his first game. But,
right.
When Brandon Woodruff down, and I don't know what's going to happen with Brandon Woodruff.
That's the only problem. You're getting some guys back, but now all of a sudden the pitching staff is getting injured.
But you got to say Kyle Harrison. I question that trade of trading Cale Durbin because he did such a great job, but they got Kyle Harrison back. He's been a stud in that lineup.
Yep.
And Mizorowski in Washington the other night, that was just awesome to watch. I mean, till he got that cramp.
Yeah.
But he was just I think he had 43 pitches over 100 miles an hour, which tied an all-time record, Larry.
Wow.
And he probably would have had another 10 if we stayed in there because I think he was at 80 pitches when they took him out. So, but
and it looks like it's going to be nothing that's going to bother him.
No,
Looks
absolutely.
like he'll be starting tomorrow.
Yeah. So, and then Logan Henderson, great job on Sunday too.
Yeah, and he's in there for
Woodruff.
Woodruff.
Yep. So I think they're pitching. Their bullpen is still to me a little sporadic. They traded for that Zerpa. He's done.
Yeah, he's out now.
Yeah. So, they traded Nick Mears away for him, and maybe I know Zerpa was left-handed, but left-handed they now have 3 left-handed pitcher relievers that are on the DL with him, Koenig, and the guy that starts with a Z.
Oh yeah, that's a long name. Yeah,
Rob Z.
But anyway, that was their strong point last
absolutely.
year.
And then it seems like McGill is coming back a little bit, but he just doesn't look confident when he's out there.
Yeah,
especially in his curveball, and quite honestly, his curveball, but. He doesn't seem like he's throwing the 99, 100-mile fastball either. So, we'll see.
That's what you need with a reliever.
But they need to get some runs. They're not scoring a lot of runs, and
big news, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless is joining Stephen A. Smith tomorrow on ESPN's First Take.
That's an old combination there. So.
First time since June of 2016 they'll be together. It's billed as a one-time show.
Okay.
So it may not be together.
I'm not the biggest Skip Bayless fan in the world.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out.
Just because he's anti-Green Bay Packer. But,
and he hasn't been on anywhere.
He was with Shannon Sharp
on Fox,
and that got broke up because of Shannon Sharp's problem. But I think a little bit of Skip Bayless problem. But nobody's found a place for him either.
He was getting paid a lot of money.
You bet. Yeah.
Well, Stephen A. Smith's getting paid a lot
of money too. And Stephen A. He doesn't really care who he's making. Last week he had the NASCAR drivers all up because he said NASCAR drivers were not athletes.
Oh boy!
And I said, well, my feeling there, you want to get in a car and drive 400 or 500 miles at almost 200 miles an hour. Okay, you try it, Stephen A. and see what happens.
I wouldn't even be able to go a lap going that fast. No way. Two Guys on Sports brought to us by All Motor Performance, Opelt Avenue, Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthouse, State Farm Agent. And don't forget, Sunday is Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, yeah. Happy Mother's Day to my mother and my wife and your wife, Larry.
Yeah, my mom are all out there. And good luck to your wife and her health. And
Yep. Hopefully by Sunday we've got this all licked.
You bet. We can celebrate and have fun on Mother's Day. Don't forget boys baseball today. Neilsville Granton at Thorpe taking on Owen Withy Thorpe. Game time 5 o'clock today.
That game is at Thorpe.
Yes, 92.7 WPKG for that one. For Two Guys on Sports, I'm Larry Hazen.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next week.